Hello. In this video, I will tell you how to use the Alibaba website so that you can turn your idea and dream of some excellent product into reality. That is how to create a good, high quality, superior product that your target audience will like. Today we will discuss this from A to Z. We'll start from a general understanding of what kind of Alibaba website is, and in general, what it is like, to the fact that you will have a ready-made quality product at home or in some marketplace warehouse or your store. We will discuss all this. Initially, we will talk about what Alibaba is in general and what it is. We'll talk later about how to find the product you need on the Alibaba website, how to find a quality supplier for this product, how to understand which supplier is good and which is not good. I will explain this so that you can find suitable suppliers. I will explain how to communicate with them and conduct a dialogue with these suppliers to find and create a quality product. How to get attractive prices. We will talk about communication with suppliers. I will explain how to order samples of goods from suppliers to understand what they offer and what kind of samples they have, and we'll talk about it. I'll explain how you can make a payment on the Alibaba website and how to pay for the products you want to order. I'll explain how it all happens. I will explain how to check your product for quality. When you create a ready-made product, how to prevent it for quality, so that you get high-quality products. And I will explain how to ship these products to the country you need, for example, from China to Amazon warehouses or from China to your home. We'll talk about that too. My name is Vova. Glad to see you. I have been trading on Amazon since 2016 and using the Alibaba website since 2016. For a second, I'll show you my account here on the Alibaba website. On this account, we have completed over $83,226 transactions. That is, we ordered goods for this amount. We also ordered goods outside of Alibaba, but I have experience working with Alibaba, so I'm glad to share my experience and help you order a good product. I am a seller on Amazon, as I have already said. In the video description, there will be a link to Alibaba to create a free account on Alibaba. This link is an affiliate link. If you ever register through me on the Alibaba website and do business with Alibaba, I will receive a small amount in my bank account. It won't cost you any money, but this way you can support my free content here on YouTube, for which I am very grateful to you. I will also try to get good discounts from the guys from Alibaba, which will be associated with this link. So thank you very much. The video description will also contain all the time codes for all parts of this video, making it easier for you to find something specific if you need it. Use it. In general, all the useful links and everything I have for you will be in the description of this video. Let's go. What exactly is the Alibaba website? On the Alibaba website, you can order goods, usually in large quantities, so that they can be sold on the marketplace, for example on Amazon or some other online marketplace, or in physical stores, such as a bicycle store or fishing store, or at home to sell some goods. On Alibaba, you can order wholesale in large quantities. What does it mean? Hundreds, thousands. The more we order, the lower the price will be. This is Alibaba website, alibaba.com. Here you can search for products. If you don't have an idea yet, usually people come here with an idea. If you need an idea but want to create some product, you need to understand whom you are creating it for and where you will sell it. This is generally important for everyone who creates goods to understand. But if you still need an idea and want to create a product, who will buy it, and where will they buy it? Usually people come to Alibaba with an idea when they already know where to buy. For example, me as a seller on Amazon, I'm looking for an idea for a product on the Amazon website itself, and then I go to Alibaba to see the price of this product so that I could buy on Alibaba and sell it on Amazon's website. We work on a private label system. We create our brands and sell them on Amazon. For example, I have a brand in the field of barbecue products, but you can also start your product search from here. For instance, we're thinking, well, it would be interesting for me to see the products for home and garden, and then we go, here is a barbecue, garden supplies, barbecue, and there will be different barbecue products. That is, there will be different grills. Okay, that is some mat. A grill is such a barbecue product to cook meat on it or some vegetables. Many different products. You can search here products for different platforms and categories through the Alibaba website. But we have already come here with an idea about the product. For example, my idea of a product. Yes, by the way, this is my first real product on the internet that I sold. This is just the product. That's the kind of product we had. These are kitchen scissors. That is, what can be done? You can write kitchen scissors in the search. This way we can get different products like kitchen scissors. Here, for example, there are many kitchen scissors, like this one and this one. We have been selling and are still selling them. And there are a lot of different results that appear here. Just a lot. I advise you, when you're looking for some product on Alibaba, well, you can search by products, but you can search by suppliers. We're searching for scissor suppliers, because sometimes there is one supplier with several cards like this. For example, there are maybe some supplier here and he has these, and these scissors all belong to him. And so we can look at suppliers with scissors, so it seems more convenient to search. For example, we're doing a search when we wrote kitchen scissors and choose suppliers here. Now we have 2,669 suppliers of these products, which is a lot. I understand you are thinking now, whoa, which of them are good and which are not good? Now let's talk about understanding which supplier is good and which is not. That is, we realized that we could search by the product's name. For example, we find an idea for a product somewhere and go to Alibaba to get information about it and find a supplier. What do we see here? We see 2,669 suppliers. Which ones are good? What is there to look at all? Some pictures here, the name. Let's take it apart. Here we have the first supplier, Young John Just Industry and Trading Co. This is the first supplier, so let's take this card apart. These are suppliers' cards. That is, what do we see here? Here we see two options. These are trade assurance and verified supplier. I love these options. Why? Trade assurance. If you select this check mark, it will show all the suppliers that have an option on trade assurance. Trade assurance is a service that Alibaba provides to protect you as a buyer. That is, for example, if you have agreed with some supplier that he will create for you 1,000 scissors with red handles and boxes, and they create for you 1,000 scissors with green handles and without boxes, then you can submit a request to trade assurance and ask for money back. If the supplier works with this arrangement, we can see him. This is the first thing. The second is verified supplier. This shows the suppliers that Alibaba as a site verified. A special verification by this site according to different criteria. That is, in principle, what I like to do is to choose this option and this option. That is, in principle, what happened is that the first supplier we had before was the Yan Zhang. He has trade assurance. Here we have 2,669 people. We click here, and now we have 2,498 suppliers. But still I love choosing this verification. Now we're losing Yang Zhang, and there are 637 left. There are 637 suppliers who have both trade assurance and verification. I advise you to always work with these things, simply because there is more trust in them. The next thing is very important to see is how many years this supplier has been in business on Alibaba. For example, this supplier has been doing business on Alibaba for 10 years, and that's cool, because if there is a new supplier that probably only works for a year, then there is less trust in him. But not fact that it is a bad supplier, and not the fact that he wants to steal money from you. After all, there is such a question. Vova, well, how can I not have my money stolen here? With whom to work? Look at the work time of the supplier. The longer he works, if he has all the certificates, then most likely he's just doing business here, and he doesn't want to steal money from anyone. Usually I look at 3+, 5 years, but the last time, for example, we ordered a new product, and the guys had, in my opinion, 2 years. But after the communication, plus these two options they had verified, it was normal for me to communicate with them. Yes, it's 2 years, not 10, but in my case, we got better prices from them and generally better communication than from guys who had, in my opinion, 13 years. Well, it just so happened. Next, these are the names of the suppliers. The first thing in the name is this, Yang Zhang, or he is Jiangsu, or here is Shenzhen. Usually this is the city where this supplier is located. If we write Yanjiang, I've typed it into the search before, Yanjiang is located here, in Guangdong. This is Guangdong province, here it is marked in red. Why is it important to understand where the supplier is located? Because if the supplier is located near the port, it will be faster to deliver the goods from the factory and from the supplier to the correct port, from where it will be possible to send the goods, for example, to America. If your factory produces your goods somewhere here, for example, in Luzhou, here it is, it will take longer to carry the goods, for example to the ports in Shenzhen or to the port located in Shanghai. These are large ports and it turns out it will just be longer. For example, if it takes a day to transport goods from Yangjiang to Shenzhen and Lezhou, it will be 4 days, and it will simply be longer in your chain of creating and shipping goods. That is if you urgently need goods to America on Amazon right now because you're running out of inventory. Then from here it will just take longer to do it. It will have to be created and transported here, and there is even a danger that somewhere on the road during all this time of transportation, I personally didn't have such a thing, but still something may happen to this transportation simply because it is longer. That's why it's important to look at the place where your factory is located. Of course, if you, for example, create bicycles, etc., and they are only made here in Nanchong and nowhere else, then you will have to work with Nanchong. If there is an option to find something closer to the ports, look at this option. Next, what do we see? Yangjiang Key Home Hardware Factory. That is, here it is exactly a factory, it is written. Sometimes there will be a thing like a trade company, that is Trade & Co. Trade Co is a company that resells goods. For example, they buy scissors from someone and sell them to you. That is, they are reselling from another factory. It's not a fact that resellers will be bad. Maybe they will have good prices too. Maybe in my case I had such a thing that I found resellers who had better prices than some factories. It turned out that way and working with them made it more comfortable for me. But generally, it's good to look at it as a factory. That is usually Trading Co. In the name already say that this is a company that is engaged in trade. Sometimes the factory can be engaged in the selling. A factory can be a factory and have a division dealing with resale. This is also normal. That was about the name. Next, you can add it to your favorites. For example, we just like the factory and are adding it to the future. For example, we added it to our favorites. What's good about it? Even if we add several people to our favorites, we can contact them in one message at once. We can click favorites and send a message to all favorites later, for example to this and this factory. Then we can go to favorites, look at all our suppliers, and send them a message. That is what do we see next here. Here verified supplier is this option. You can see their details. Here there are contact details. Click here and see the details of this factory. What do we see? Miss Fanny Zhang. Here you can see the details, the phone number, where the company is located, see its name and location, which has been confirmed. See the stick. This means that it has been verified by Alibaba. And in general you can see what kind of company it is. That is, for example, this is a manufacturer. This is a creator of goods and also a trading company. They're also engaged in the resale of goods. What products do they have? Baking tools, kitchen utensils. They create things for the kitchen and cooking, for baking. This is the creation of pies. What does it mean? If we're looking for scissors, then we would like the product, you can also see it here in the main products, to still have these scissors as the main product, so that we know what they are doing, so that they can even create this product faster because they work with this product. For example, Jiangsu Smile Tools here. They have scissors here, and this is their main product. One of their main products and so on and so forth. Not everyone, for example, will have scissors like this main product. The seller Shenzhen Yoa Technology Company doesn't have scissors in its main products. There is a litho placement leather box. They do not make scissors at all. But this is for scissors, where you can insert them. Apparently, according to the keywords, this product just got here too. Here, for example, there are also scissors, but they are generally engaged in shakers, different blenders, pizza boxes, and barbecue. This is probably also a reseller. That is, it would be nice to see the main product. This can again be seen here main products or here on the supplier's page. You can see the name, main product, kitchen utilities, or it will be written kitchen scissors. What else can you see here? You can see how many people work. Some patent rewards. There is also a profile. You can click on company overview and see more details about it. There are different photos that are verified, by the way. You can also notice. Read a little about company. Everything that we see here has been verified. Then if they have any certificates, for example, here we see ISO 9001 or BMSI, and maybe it will be needed for your goods. It has been verified, or let's say where the goods are sent to this factory. For example, this factory sends 40% of its products to the domestic market, that is back to China. What does it mean? If we see that the product works a lot in North America, it means that the quality of this factory, and the goods in general, the products of this factory are good because in North America, people demand quality. It's very interesting to see. When was this company established? 2010? It was established in 2010 and got on Alibaba.com about the same year. How many people work here? And their total annual revenue. They don't want to show here, confidential. They don't share it, but you can see recent transactions. For example, over the last 6 months, more than $70,000 have passed through transactions with this factory. That is, there may have been a transaction for $5,000, for $500, for 6, well, in different ways. That is, these transactions have been in the last 6 months. I advise you to add a few people to your favorites if you like this manufacturer. You can also read more about this company. You can see what other products they have here. Here they have products, cookie cutters and kitchen tools, they have different ones. There are different baking tools as well. You can go home again and see their main page. There is even different languages here. It's not a fact, of course, that it will be well translated. So what is the point? Here is the essence of how to understand what kind of supplier. The supplier looks normal to me. That is, they have certificates and everything looks clear. These guys have been on the website for a long time. That is, they have been here for 11 years. For example, I would add this factory to my favorites. Then I would look for more suitable factories for our Caesar's product. When we found some companies that we liked, and add them to favorites, they're all in favorites. We can go to favorites later. Click favorite suppliers, and here we can write to all these suppliers. Here are some companies I work with too. For example, we take this and this one. We can choose them. We can write them something at the same time. For example, we can make a contact supplier. That is, we can write to this supplier at the same time, and to this supplier and this one. That is, we throw it into favorites, and in order not to write separately to each supplier, we wrote both simultaneously. Now, what are we writing? What is the essence of writing to these companies in general? After we found the companies that we liked and wanted to work with them because we liked them and they look good. That is, we went through the time, how many of them were on the website, and we checked it all. All this suits us. We look at North America as a market. There is also total revenue here, but it is not so important here any figure for me personally. It is just important to see that there is some turnover. If more than $1 million, for example, it's cool that more transactions happen. Less than $1 million or 2.5 between 5 million. That is, we see that 2.5 to 5 million, then 50% goes to North America. That is, apparently the quality is very good. You can also look at this. There are generally more than 100 million. And here we have Europe, which also requires strong quality, and North America. And a huge factory, as we see, they have a big one. Openly, they show their turnover here. 963 million. A big factory with big transactions. It's fun. It also shows us that these factories are good. Next, here we can send the message equally to everyone at one time, so that they will respond to us. And what do we write in this message? I will leave a message in the video description that you can write, and you can email me. I will send this message to you by email. It will come to you as a file. I will not do any course or sell anything via mail. I will honestly send this template so that you can contact suppliers, and I will also be able to contact you sometime in the future to show you some new videos of my own or advise you something. What will happen there? There will be a template with hints or what to write to suppliers. I'll show it to you now. I'm just showing it on the Rapid Tables website, but you can get it free in the description. What's going on here? Here you can make a template that will suit all the companies and what we want to learn from these companies related to our product. In principle, it will depend on the product to the product. Here too you need to understand that if you order some creme, for example, for hands, some skin creme and scissors for the kitchen, different questions will be asked. But the essence of this letter is to get feedback with some quality information related to this product, so that we can continue work with this supplier. What do we usually write? This is such a common template. If you personally write to one company, then you can look at the company, for example, take Shenzhen Yue Technology, and we can see the name of the person to contact. We can write Lacey specifically, take his name and insert the representative name instead of customer. Write hello Lacey if you write to them separately. It's kind of more beautiful to communicate with a person by his name, I think so. Okay, so we write in hello, my name is, we write our names, my name is Vova, I'm a seller on Amazon. It's not a fact that you need to write to him, I'm a seller on Amazon. You can write about yourself. I write that I have a brand in the barbecue niche. If you don't have brand, you can tell. I'm creating a brand in the niche of so and so. We sell mainly on Amazon USA. We plan on selling on Amazon. You can change it a little for yourself. This is a template for understanding what is going on. Next, hope you are doing well. I was interested in the product kitchen scissors, for example. The text and the brackets need to be changed. Just need to change them to the product name. I'm interested in kitchen scissors because they can reach great sales on Amazon USA, and so on and so forth. I'd be grateful if you could answer a few of my questions. And here are the questions. The point is to make the questions you need for your product. In my case, I need to learn about scissors. First, I ask the following. Could you please send me a catalog of your scissors? Maybe there are many scissors. Second question, are there any customization options available? If yes, which? A logo package? That is, you can add it here or remove it. Third question, how can we pack these products best? How do you pack them? For example, they will tell you that you can pack it in a box or you can pack it in some cellophane bag. Any bonuses you believe can be added to this product as a bundle. For example, sometimes people sell scissors along with a scissors sharpener. Here you can find out from them about it. Next, there are questions about certificates. What specific certificates do you offer to sell this product in America? For example, there are goods that needed an FDA certificate. This is an American certificate. Or some certificates in Europe. Sixth question, do you know the HS code for this product in the USA? HS code is special code for importing each product into some country. For example, as far as I know, scissors do not have this code. What do I mean now? There is some product that has a tax on the import of these products to America of 20%, for example. This is called the HS code. You can check this in Google. For example, write HS code kitchen scissors. This can also be found out from the supplier. I will find out in advance because it can save us time. After all, maybe there is some product that requires 50% when importing this product to America from, for example, India. For example, some specific carpet, some type of carpets. And then you still have to pay much money. Next question. What would be the lead time for this product? What is the product made of, the materials? The ninth question. What would be your minimum order quantity for this product? And please tell me the prices of this product for 100, 300, 500 to 1000 pieces. It would be possible to discuss prices in the future, but here we can already ask for prices in advance. We can write 5000 pieces, 100 for example, 500 and 1000. You can specify how convenient it is for you in different ways. Next, thank you for your time and so on. This message can be sent to all these guys, all suppliers. Click Contact Supplier. That is, then we send it here. It's all going to work out for them. Then we wait. We have created a good letter based on a template I can give you. You need to understand what you need to know for your product. Maybe you're selling some beds, and you need to understand how many beds there are on each bed, on a chain, I don't know. Think about the product that you can ask for and write it beautifully. Introduce yourself, explain who you are. Not just, hello, can you sell this product to me? They won't answer you. And this is how they will answer you. It's not a fact that everyone will answer, but the better you write the letter, it will be fine. You can personally not write by name. Just do hello, and then you will write to all the companies. Then they will answer you. And there is already communication with suppliers. That is now our goal is when we contact them, we will get feedback from them, from the suppliers. I'll come back here to this page for now. When we get answers back from them, from someone, we won't get them from someone. I advise you to write to many people because not everyone will answer. Someone will answer slowly, someone will give strange answers, short answers. For example, when I ask the 10th question and supplier write me, okay. What does this mean to me? That I don't want to work with them. I want to hear good English from a nice person who responds quickly, and we start communicating with them. You can communicate on the Alibaba website itself. That is, you can communicate here inside the Alibaba website. You can communicate via Skype, that is rather on Skype and a Telegram. Ask them where it is convenient for you to communicate. You can add it here. For example, please contact me on Skype. Next, your Skype name, and so on. They also use WhatsApp. I don't know about Telegram. I didn't communicate with them in Telegram. Well, you can talk to them like this. Or chat on Alibaba. For example, they will answer you, "Hello, Sergey," or "Hello, Marina." Maybe I guessed someone's name now. Maybe I didn't. Sergey and Marina leave comments. Please put a like everyone who is not Sergey or Marina. Also, please like the video or dislike it. If it doesn't, come in. Please write comments and share this video too. And again, they will answer you and say, yes, here are some answers. You can write later. Okay, fine, John, let's talk on Skype. Now we need to set up a communication relationship with them. So what they answer you, how they respond, is it pleasant for you to communicate with them? To bring the movement and communication with suppliers. Again, not everyone will answer. We write to some quantity. Our task is continue creating the product. We need samples of our product. We need a sample of these scissors. If communication suits us and this company seems to be adequate, we see that he will give us some prices about the product, tell us what materials are there, and in general it seems to be nice to communicate with them. It is too early to agree on the final price. I personally negotiate after the samples, but initially you can understand what they offer in general. Maybe there will be some company that has set prices in advance. Yes, and it will also be possible to talk to them. I will explain how later, but in general, now we need to order samples. For examples, out of 10 factories that we contacted, out of 20, as a result, we established good communication with 3. We communicate with them, they tell us something about the product, and then we say, okay, John, after all, we want to order a sample from you. We want a sample of these scissors and a box for them, for example. We want to pack them in some box. At the moment, you don't need the final customized box that you want to make yet. You need a box in which the goods will be prepared and those scissors that will be prepared. That is, you say, for example, John, I am pleased to communicate with you. I would like to order a sample of scissors. Please, can you send me these, for example, scissors with such a lid to close the blades? We want them with red and black handles and a box. Please, in which you usually put these scissors, and please, John, do not forget to put a business card to understand that this package was from you. Sometimes they all send you scissors and you don't know from whom samples came. 2 of them have no name. It is unclear from whom. Ask them to put down their business card. John, please put down the business card and write that it's from John. This is very important to say because often it just comes. You need to understand from whom that sample. We ask, for example, 3 suppliers with whom we like to work and communicate. Order a sample. Samples are usually sent to your home. You want to play around with the samples, you want to touch and understand what kind of sample it is, whether it is comfortable, uncomfortable, heavy, light, stinks or doesn't stink, break it, cut the chicken with it, cut what needs to be cut, that is, use the product in that, let's say, the sphere where it will be used, and then we will test these products. We will receive these 3 samples, but there is a question, how to pay for them. You can pay for a sample on the Alibaba website. That is, we will ask, for example, these guys from Young John to open up to us on the Alibaba website the opportunity to make a payment for this sample. Sometimes they can do it for us for free, but most likely if we send it to home to another country, a regular parcel will cost around $30. For example, from China to Israel, $30. For example, in Thailand, the same is around $30. You can send a pair of scissors home. You can also find a person in China or a friend or acquaintance or a company that does this, which will be able to accept 3 samples and send them in one package. Then the parcel will be cheaper for you. The weight will not change much, but the volume of the parcel and the price will be about the same. In order not to send 3 parcels for $30, just save. Find such a person and ask around in different groups. For example, if you're a seller on Amazon, ask who is engaged in such a service. Or if you are in the group of someone else marketplace, find out where these groups can be found. There is Amazon Freedom. We have links in the description, Telegram and Facebook. Mostly we talk about Amazon, but there we will help those who are not on Amazon. So come to us and we will help you. Find such a person there. They will accept your orders. That is, they will accept 3 of these parcels. And how to send them. We will tell the supplier in China, please send your samples from you to this address in China, and from 3, these guys will already send you home. If you don't want to do this, then don't do it. That is to look for this person in China to save some money. Although I advise you very much because, for example, you take 5 samples and X30 is $150 for all these parcels. And if you send them to one place in China, inside China, the parcel can be free of charge. Or there will be up to $5 approximately, depending on the goods. A small product will certainly be cheap. Then we will save. Then one parcel will cost, for example, $40 instead of 155 different ones, and all the goods will be in one. Okay, we're receiving our samples and start playing with them. Touching, breaking, sniffing, tearing boxes, using goods, and trying, and we see that John and Anne, for example, have good products. These scissors are high quality, they look like good metal. We will throw the scissors, for example, somewhere in the sink, and we will wait for a week if they rust or not. We see that John and Anne have really good scissors. Other guys' products have broken, Crystal's handle broke off, and Suzy are generally made of cheap plastic. Therefore, we continue to communicate with other guys. You can write to others, guys, thank you for sending, we're not interested at the moment, thanks. They will offer something else, but we are already working with those who were already serious initially, as for me. For example, John and maybe Jack, John and Jack. They have high-quality scissors. John and Jack are pleasant to talk to. We would like to work with John and Jack. What next? We already have good communication with them. We see that the 2 products are good. We want to understand which of them will offer us the best deal. We begin to communicate further about the product. We want to understand what and how much it will cost us, creating, for example, 1,000 scissors. John will offer this and Jack that. And we know that both offer good quality, good communication, and so on. Also at this time, when we begin to negotiate with them, now we'll explain a little about negotiations, we can also start already creating, for example, a box or a logo for a product. When we already see that we are seriously want this product, and something is already moving forward, we can start creating the following design so that later we can prepare the final sample. The final sample, that is, for example, a sample that will already have a ready-made box and the paper insert inside the product, where it says "Thank you for the purchase" and the logo on the scissors. That is the final sample according to which the mass production of scissors will be created. Around this time, you can start working on it with different designers who can make a box or a logo for scissors. Where we can find such people? They can be found in our groups. Amazon Freedoms can advise you guys, or just Google yourself in different groups related to the marketplace or some groups or websites that offer freelancer services. For example, a Fiverr. I can leave a link in the description. You can find designers for boxes, designs, and logos on Fiverr. There are many things there. And at the same moment, we can already negotiate. What you need to do? First of all, speak kindly. Understand that our target price is like this. For example, if you have identified that the product is sold at some price on your marketplace and now it will be difficult for me to say maybe you're selling on Amazon, maybe you even want these scissors to go home to the store. You need to understand the price at which you will sell the product to make a profit and how much it will cost. For example, you have a target price of $1.50 with delivery together from a warehouse in China to your, for example, a warehouse on Amazon. And this is your target price. You go to it, but they don't want to. The guys offer $2. John offers 2 and Jack offers 2.50. Your price is the $0.50 you want. And we start doing the next thing. Firstly, we explain to them about the price and say that this is our goal price, we want it, and we will be glad if we can reach it. They will offer you such and such prices. For example, John offers $2 for scissors with a box and Jack offers 1.80, for example, and we want 1.50. We'll tell John that Jack is offering us 1.80, and you, John, are offering 2. They also have excellent quality. Can you make 1.7, 1.6, or just 1.5? We will be glad to start working as soon as possible and are looking for long-term cooperation. We need this price and we will happily cooperate with you. For example, they do 1.8, 1.7 instead. Then we tell John that Jack lowered the price to 1.7 and we say, I've already confused about who John is, to be honest. Jack, you offered us 1.8, but now we've explained it to Jack. I'm very open, I'm honestly say how it all happens. Jack, we're being offered 1.7 now, and you're 1.8. I understand that business is important for you and me too, and we want to work long-term, but understand that when we go up to this price, we will start work immediately and fly on. Can you improve Jack's price? Yes, no, yes, yes, no, no. That is, negotiations will take place. I like to send each other these samples right here. I can even send a photo that John said so and Jack said so. Maybe you can learn to negotiate somewhere else. This is my approach, and that's what I do. But maybe you can do something differently or say something differently. You need to understand what your target price is and go to it. For example, we still got a good price with Jack or John, and then we say to the second party, we don't abandon them because it's good to have two suppliers for the same product. Suddenly, something happens to one of them. We say, Jack, I'm sorry, but John and I have reached 1.5. We were given the final price. Can you do even better? Because we're already ordering just the final sample from him, and that's it. Sometimes they will lower your price even more, because they need a business, they want to. Prices on the Alibaba website are likely higher than those guys who, for example, have intermediaries who can help you. The guys who can speak in China and will be able to negotiate in Chinese. If you have the option to find such people too, called the sourcing agent, you can find such people too. I worked with such people and they got better prices than me. For example, recently we ordered one product for barbecue, our supplier, the girl who offers us scissors too. I didn't bargain with her much, but she gave us 1 unit of 85 cents. And the person in China was able to break through the same product at about 50 cents per unit. This is a big difference. If you have an option, look for such people. But the problem is, when you work with someone who helps you with this, they will have to pay 100% immediately of the entire amount. And when you pay the factory, you can, for example, pay them 30% and then 70%. We'll get to that now. Know that there are people who can help you working with China. They will negotiate in Chinese with these factories. Perhaps they will negotiate with the same factory and be able to lower the price for you. Know that there is such an option too, but not always everyone has such an option, so sometimes we need to talk ourselves. Then we create the final sample. We use ready-made designs that we receive from the designer. For example, PDF some files to the factory to create these products. They create it, for example, to make a logo on the box, such as such dimensions of the box. They'll explain it all to you. It's pretty simple. And the logo on the scissors, for example, somewhere here. They can do it in China and create samples for you. Usually a sample of such a specific one made for you will cost $50. But it depends on the product. Maybe the scissors will be worth $30. For a huge microphone, like this, specific sample will probably cost much more. But I only worked with simple products for barbecue or the kitchen. Therefore, in my case, a specialized sample with a logo, specific packaging, and a box usually cost me $50. We create this product and ask for photos too. We always ask for photos or videos at all stages. Before they send, show us the product photos. For example, you will see that they have made the wrong printout from the back. And you can say, no, sorry guys, we need you to do the printout correctly. When you see that everything is correct on the photos and on the video, we will ask for the same product to take home, the last sample, and we will send him to our home directly, from the factory. We receive last sample, we touch it, see that everything is correct, and that we have closed all the problems, and then we give the green light to create the product. Now I'll explain how you can pay. I didn't say it before. You can pay on the Alibaba website. They open an order for you, and as a result, we can pay for this order on the Alibaba website. Just choose how to pay for it. Now I'll show you, for example, I have ordered, for example, here is this order. This is the first order. I click on Pay the balance. Here it will also be possible to pay not only for the product itself, but also for the sample. You can pay via credit card, or you can use a wire transfer. It's like sending it directly to the bank. There will be less commission usually. PayPal, Apple Pay, Western Union, and online transfer via Deal, Trustly, and Klarna. I do not know, I have never done it here, but I pay either by PayPal to them or by credit card, or directly to the bank. If we pay through trade assurance, through Alibaba for samples, or in general for everything that happens, then it will be like a contract that can be changed or created before that. They are created by the Chinese. It will be possible to get acquainted with them and change something in it if we pay through this website through trade assurance. Then, in principle, everything will be protected. If we received scissors with a white handle instead of a black one, then we are protected by the fact that we agreed on one thing and received the second one. We need to return the money, or at least they will change our order. For example, I recently ordered, we had a box, the box had a gold logo, and all the boxes were black and white. I told the guys, the boxes are black and white, we agreed on gold boxes, and they said, okay, we'll change. Just good communication changed everything was fine. That is, it will be possible to pay here. Again, credit card, debit card, PayPal, wire transfer, and Apple Pay. You can also pay outside the Alibaba website, for example via the Payoneer. There is such a payment system. I will also leave a link in the description to create a free Payoneer account. This is a payment system with which you can receive money from Amazon, for example, and send it to suppliers. I don't recommend using it to begin with. It is better to pay through Alibaba first to see that everything works. Then, when you have a better relationship, you can pay through Payoneer. You ask why? Perhaps it's just the transaction fees that the platform takes from each transaction will be less, or even go to zero. You can pay directly through the bank, but there is a risk because the operation is performed outside the platform. But it will be cheaper there. For example, I started sending money to my supplier directly to the bank only a few years after we met with him in Thailand. There is no correct formula here. Feel the communication. But first, I advise you to pay through trade assurance. Here we pay for this sample. And first and second via the Alibaba website. We're sending it home, we have a ready sample on our hands, and we say, guys, let's go, it's time to create 1,000 Caesars. Fine, they will open an order for us again, and we will agree on how to pay for it. 30% a day and 70% when the order ends, or other conditions. You can negotiate in different ways. You can also negotiate different payment terms. For example, you can pay 30% a day and 70% when the creation of the product is over. And you can pay 25% a day and the remaining 75% only when we need it. Not when the product runs out, but when we need it within 3 months. Or if we create, for example, 5,000 units, you can pay 20% of 5,000 units. By the way, I paid this way when I already had a good relationship with the supplier. The remaining 80% is on products when needed. For example, we need 1,000 out of 5,000. We pay 80% and ship. The remaining 4,000 are still unpaid. It helps me to have money in my pocket, not at the supplier. This way you can also improve your relationships with suppliers and get the best payment terms. As a rule, it is likely to be something in the 30 and 70. That is 30% a day, 70% already as soon as the production ends. For finished products, we send the goods to Amazon, for example, or to your home. The better your relationship is, the better you can talk, the more you represent yourself as a company, and the more you will be given because if you're a huge company, you're Apple for example, you say, hello, we want to work with you. The guys are like, wow, you Apple, of course. What do you want, Mr. Apple? We want us to pay you 0% a day, you started the order, and we will pay it only in 30 days when it will already be on Amazon. You're probably thinking now, what? Will they start creating your products for free? Of course. If you represent Apple, then yes, because these products will sell very quickly from Apple because Apple is trusted. So the supplier is ready to start everything for his money and create for you, and only then get money from you. But to get to this point, you need to develop your brand and yourself as a brand representative and as your company. So to begin with, it will most likely be 30 and 70. 30 today, 70 when it ends. What happens next? We create and wait. But while waiting, we ask for photos and videos from our supplier. Hello, John, how are scissors made there? Can you send me a photo or video of what is being produced? Send me a pair of scissors that are being produced. So that it doesn't happen that when we have made a good sample, in 30 days, you will have ready-made scissors on your hands and the logo will be the opposite. It happens. They are Chinese, don't ask me. Ask me in the comments and write whatever you want, but the Chinese can do this. They're just Chinese and that's fine. Constantly write to have the latest photos and videos sent to you. John, how are you? Tell me, what about the goods? When the product will be ready, so that you yourself are ready for the fact that the goods will be ready. What happens then? We have to check our product for quality. The product remains for sale for now. We contact the company a week before the end to check the quality. The factory usually checks the quality, but it is worth working with the company that checks it. For example, we work with Unreal China guys. Link will be in the description. Since 2017, for 5 years now. It's 2022 now. Who looks from the future? Salam to all. I hope everything is fine there. How will this company help us? It will help to provide a product inspection service. For example, do we say, hello guys from Unreal China, we want to book an inspection of the goods from you on such and such a date. We will talk about this with the factory. Let's say, hello factory, we want to bring an inspection on such and such a date. It is okay. Hello guys from the inspection who want to make an inspection on such and such a date. How much will it cost? What do you suggest? How many products can you check? What kind of products they will ask you? The point is to check the products now before we send them out so that there are no defects. because there can be a defect. The factory itself checks its products. There is such a thing. But I suggest and advise you to bring an inspection constantly until you had a good relationship with your factory. Take an inspection, pay for it, and invest money. It will save you bad products because when a person receives bad products, he leaves you a bad review on the marketplace or at your home there. You will order 1,000 scissors for your scissor store and 50 scissors with a broken handle came. It will cost you money. It's not good. It is better to agree in advance that if there are broken goods, and even in this contract, we replace them. The factory replace it for free. The inspection will arrive. For example, the guys from Unreal China can make live videos for you, take pictures, tell you, talk to you, you can call them. Very good guys are very professional. And we check the products. We agree that we have, for example, 50 boxes of 20 scissors in each, for example, or 20 boxes of 50 pieces, rather than scissors and big boxes, it doesn't matter. Maybe one huge box with 1,000 scissors in it, a huge box. It depends on how you want to transport, where you are taking. If you take it to Amazon, there are their own box sizes. It's very difficult to say which marketplace is here. We check the products with the guys. The guys will check it out. They will send you photos and they will tell you whether there is a defect or not. Agree with the supplier that the entire defects is replaced free of charge. The guys from Unreal China, when they check the box, for example, they check the box of scissors, everything okay, is the box of scissors is in good condition. They seal Unreal China with their duct tape. So if it is opened later, the torn duct tape will say that something was done with this product. Do you understand? It's very cool to protect you as a buyer. And, for example, we checked all these boxes, everything is fine. We replaced the defects. For example, they asked the supplier to replace the defects. It will take another day or two. We ask them to take photos all the time. Maybe there will be no defects, that is, checking the products for defects is necessary. What's next? For example, we want to set it to Amazon warehouses, or there just to some warehouses in America. We need a carrier or the factory to help us with this. We can ask him, "Hello, Uncle John, can you send our goods from your factory to California, to such and such a warehouse?" Yes, no, how much will it cost? They will offer you by plane, by ship. There is a fast ship, a slow ship, and a lot of different ways of sending. There is even a train if you send from some places from China, for example, to Europe, in different ways. And it depends on where to send it. It is necessary to find out carrier's company. These companies can be found on Alibaba itself, but it is possible to follow recommendations outside Alibaba. For example, again, if these are people I've worked with, like the guys from Unreal China, we have been working with them since 2017 too. They helped us with the transportation of goods. We write to the guys and say, "Guys, we have 20 boxes, they have scissors in them, they have such sizes, they need to be transferred from point A here, in this factory, to point B in a warehouse in America to such a location with such a zip code. How much will it cost by plane or by ship?" And give us all the transportation options at. That is, it is usually an airplane or a ship. There is still a train, but for example, in China and America, there is no train yet. And they will give us some prices. I recommend you several such companies. Contact the companies that will help you transfer the goods. For example, Unreal China. There is also Resento Logistics in Israel. There are Chinese FBAB. There is Unicargo Company, Forwarder One Company. I worked with these 5, paid them money, and they sent us the goods. I've worked most with Unreal China, so I'll honestly advise them the most. The guys will tell us how much it will cost, and then we have to pay them. Of course, it is impossible to pay Unreal China through trade assurance, but you can find senders on Alibaba again, and pay through Alibaba. If this is a verified person, like Unreal China, for example, you can pay them differently. For example, there is Payoneer, maybe some cards in different ways. Find out how to pay them. Maybe some company has PayPal, maybe they have such and such a thing, or maybe they receive crypto, I don't know, check it out. But the bottom line is that they can take your products from the goods on Alibaba, whatever you want. Today in the video, we went through the whole circle from the beginning to the end of the production. Your products will come. Then we will continue to communicate with the factory, improve relations with them, and improve relations with our supplier. It is possible to refine the product, something to add, something to remove, then it's a relationship. Supplier relationships to get the best prices, order more products, get the best prices from the carrier, set up relationships with them, and develop the business further through Alibaba. You can then exit Alibaba and pay them directly. This is at your own risk. Well, you can do that. I advise you to work with Alibaba. When you feel or want to try to work differently, it is also possible. The factories have their own good name. They don't want to fool someone, even if they don't get paid through Alibaba. But know that if you pay directly to the bank, this does not protect you. On Alibaba, you're protected. If there are any questions, I may have forgotten something, please comment and I will try to help you. I tried to tell you everything, but maybe I forgot something. Please like the video if you liked it, and dislike it if not. Please share it and subscribe to the channel. Here I talk mainly about Amazon trading, but this video is for everyone who doesn't trade there. I wish you a wonderful day and all the best. Have a good life. See you in the next video. Bye.